Welcome to New Realities. I'm very happy to be back here with my very good friends and colleagues that are appearing with me at the World UFOlogy Congress. And I think we're going to have a really fine, fantastic show. And let me show a little clip of that. So a clip from the Congress. Okay, so hold on one second. Here we are. Okay, does that come up on your screen? Yes?
Mexico City, a special...
Here, let me start off.
For the first time, the UFOlogy World Congress arrives in Mexico City, a special Latin American edition, the most important congress worldwide, science, ufology, and spirituality, this December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2023. With the stellar presentation of Dr. Michio Kaku, Jaime Maussan, Abraham Loeb, Enrique de Vicente, Doctors Mr. and Mrs. Hurtak, Edward Betancourt, and many internationally renowned world-class speakers at Expo Santa Fe. 30 conference workshops simultaneously. Buy your tickets now at www.theufologyworldcongress.com/mx. Produced by We Are Love.
That is coming up December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd in Mexico City. Buy your tickets at what was it? The UFOlogy World Congress.com/MX. That's for Mexico. It's in Mexico City. And I'm here with two honored guests who are going to be speaking at that conference, Doctors Desiree and JJ Hurtak. Yes, go ahead. Talk about what you expect the Congress. Go ahead. Yes.
We're excited that actually we're going to be there because we love the people of Mexico. And of course, people should come from all over the world because it's so great to have Michio Kaku there, to have all the other exciting speakers. Our very good friend, Jaime Maussan, who we've known since the 1980s, is going to be there. And Alan, you're going to be there as well.
So this is a very exciting time.
I'm going to be hosting, emceeing. I'm going to be doing a workshop on remote viewing. But it's an overall huge Congress that is going to have international people from all over the world. Because let's just talk about how the progress for disclosure is really increasing in the last year. What do you say about the government disclosures, JJ and Desiree?
First of all, we have the highest level of information to date that's been released after 85 years of silence. Secondly, having been in Mexico in 1979 and actually showing pictures of the specimens, this is a very unique time that we can bring forth the actual evidence of the smoking gun. I'm holding from the Keys of Enoch an interesting picture painted by the famous artist Mareka Postuma, the Dutch artist who was able to follow my outline and show several of the extraterrestrial specimens. And so we are at the brink of a new reality of seeing and accepting from the mouth of the great scientists and engineers and journalists like yourself, Ellen, who'll be putting all of this together.
Right, and I'm excited.
Sorry. Okay.
I'm excited because isn't Avi Loeb going to be there as well? He's a Harvard scientist.
I'm not sure if he's going to be there or if he's just going to be beaming in, but there is going to be Michio Kaku, who is probably one of the leading scientists of our time, who's just recently opened up to the fact that, hey, there is something out there. So there's a whole turnaround of events since you saw him last in Barcelona, where he was not. Right, talk about that. Yes.
No, yeah, he's amazing because he is one of the establishment that now on a scientific level is looking forward to seeing and knowing more. And he understands, as many scientists do today, that extraterrestrials have to exist out in the universe. It's not just us. But what we're going to be talking about is, I think, even more exciting. We're going to be talking about the different forms of extraterrestrials. In fact, there's a book that Dr. Hurtaks mentioned in called The Extraterrestrial Species Almanac. And it talks about 80 different life forms. And this is going to be actually placed by early next year in a film. What you actually see these aliens. What do they look like? Well, you can look at a black and white or a colored picture, but when you really see them, wink at you, look at you, it's a whole different scenario.
And you've met them, right, Dr. Hurtak? What was it like when you actually were confronted by these ETs?
Well, fortunately, as a scholar, I had studied through the historical text the use of sacred music or mantras. And so I was psychologically prepared really to see face to face those from a higher dimension of intelligence. And it's like 7 feature films being opened in your brain at the same time, where you begin to think in what I would call sacred geometries or pictures. I believe that this could be referred to, as an experience of immersion, where we step into the 5th dimension.
Right. And so ultimately, there are different forms of intelligence. There's the reptilians, there's the tall whites, there's the many other forms like the little grays, which come in different purposes and agendas. All of these actually have their own agendas. It's kind of like, looking around the world, seeing everyone has their own country, their own place. And so now we look out into space and find out everyone has their own, space planet as well.
This is why this conference is so important, bringing people from all over the world to see the great synthesis of what has been going on by the experts themselves. And so I'm going to be presenting evidence from South America and Mexico of the work that we did for many years, showing that this has been the problem for governments. They do not have the right sociology or psychology to explain. There are many cosmic cultures, and we have to get used to that.
But what we're also going to be talking about, as Dr. Jack just mentioned, we actually saw beings that are like us, but even in light energy. So there's different forms. There's the extraterrestrials that fly around in metallic spacecraft. There's those that can function in the 5th dimension, and there's those in other levels. Alan, you know about some of these as well.
No, I do know about some of them. And the thing is, more and more people around the world are seeing these craft. The government is coming forward. We are at the threshold of a new time. One person who's coming to the conference I want to point out is Jaime Maussan, who has a huge following in South America, in Latin America. But JJ, you're the person who said to him, formerly as a mainstream journalist, he was just reporting. And then you said, why don't you check out the UFO? Can you talk about that relationship and how that happened?
Yes, I was publishing a book on Mars, the pyramids on Mars that I saw through remote viewing. Working with top government scientists, I showed Jaime the evidence that there was a parallel civilization at one time within our solar system. And I was able to, should we say, be the coach behind the scenes that got him involved in several subjects, not only of the general concept of life beyond Earth, but the reality that life beyond Earth has visited our planet many times, as we see in the historic archaeological ruins. And so this has been a marvelous person, one of the great journalists of Latin America, who's been able to withstand criticism and say, wait a minute, there's more than meets the eye of the official declassified reports. We have to find within our eye, our spiritual vision, within our heart, of the art that has greater compassion, within our higher consciousness, the consciousness that sees our higher unity of the human species, that there is a blueprint that we are going to have to work with if we're going to survive these crises and these war situations or scenarios.
Let me ask you one question. So when you said to Jaime, why don't you check out you? What was his reaction? Was his reaction, no, you must be joking, or was his reaction like, okay, tell me more?
He was skeptical, and he said, tell me more. And this led into a personal friendship with him for many years. And when I showed him film documents, when I showed him actual evidence that I had from other parts of the world, he began to see this as a worldwide situation, a dilemma that could only be solved by going to the highest levels of source documentation and presenting this properly, which he has done. He has done his homework. He's brought the best scholars together through a variety of conferences going back into the early 80s. And as you know, Alan, I was there in Acapulco in 1977, which was the first World Congress with Dr. Hynek, Jacques Vallée, and my wife, Dr. Desiree. And so we've been behind the scenes because the sociology has not been proper to have people, shall we say, open themselves up to world citizenship.
So hopefully this is really the second World Conference that's going to be fabulous. Things have gone on in Mexico over the years, and Mexico is one of the largest areas for contact because many people accept the fact that we are not alone in the universe. But I'm also excited, Alan, about your book also debuting there in Spanish for the first time.
Yes,
Making Contact.
in Spanish, En Contacto. Yes, I'm happy to. I haven't seen the Spanish edition, but all our Spanish-speaking friends are now able to read, especially your chapter 3, and also everyone else, Linda Moulton Howe And
Remember, Ellen,
yes.
years ago, I was involved with the astronaut Gordon Cooper. We worked together with the famous American journalist, perhaps the most famous in the world, Sidney Sheldon, in this book, Doomsday Conspiracy. And he details how an American naval officer in Switzerland was put in contact with an alien that was not human, that had long arms, had eyes that were appendages. So again, this is top secret information in the popular sense. We're seeing top secret information now in a real sense at a World Congress.
Well, it's very exciting times we're in as disclosure comes forward, as the government starts to crack, as your information and my information starts to get out there to a wider public. I think it's going to be a fantastic conference with people like Michio Kaku, finally from the scientific community coming forward and saying, guess what? We're not alone. Stephen Bassett will be there. Who else? I can go to that poster, pull up that poster just to tell
well, it's the
people.
Who's Who. And what's important here is not so much the names, but the collective information that's being presented to the world audience. And this is why all of you watching this program should be with us in Mexico City. This is the area also of the Great Pyramids of Mexico. And the music, the studies that Desiree and I and others have done match the results with the acoustical physics of the pyramids in Egypt. So Mexico is the Egypt of the West, a place of great contact. In my work with the late president of Mexico, Jose Lopez Portillo, in the 1970s, he said that a UFO had been over Las Pinas, which is the White House in Mexico City. And he was asking me why. And I said, Mr. President, it means that Mexico is going to be the gateway to the stars. And sure enough, in 1991, during the solar eclipse, spaceships appeared over Mexico City. And that began a whole new journalism of the great minds. And Jaime Maussan is a great speaker and futurist.
One more thing I want to mention about your original book, The Keys of Enoch. You have a picture of the dove, particularly descending over Mexico. I thought that was a very significant part, that Mexico is going to play a very key role in the future. And you predicted this in 1973 in your famous book, Keys of Enoch.
That's right.
Just pull this up.
Everything that's in this book, including the markings where extraterrestrial ships have landed over the last 50 years. And this book is the only one in the world that predicted 2004 to be the time of scientific disclosure by events that would be seen worldwide. And of course, we know one of these events was over Campeche, Mexico,
in 2004,
when hundreds of spaceships appeared. Government authorities prevented the release of this information by Jaime Maussan, myself, and military specialists. But nonetheless, after so much time has passed, we know we are now prepared for the psychological, the sociological, and the cosmological invitation to become citizens of future societies in space.
And so let us realize how these pyramids that are all over Mexico, in fact, on the Monday outing, we're going to be taking some people with the whole Congress, if they'd like, to see the pyramids of the sun and the moon. And technically, there's also Quetzalcoatl. Really, there's 3 pyramids, very similar to Egypt. This is an amazing complex.
And the
there's a third pyramid. I thought there was just the pyramid of the sun and pyramid of the moon.
No, there's also the temple of Quetzalcoatl, which itself is a pyramid.
And that's what the president of Mexico wrote a book before he left office called Quetzalcoatl. Secretly said it means that Mexico was a place that was selected because of earlier contacts with people from the Pleiades. And Mexico, according to his public trust in me, was going to be the place of major confrontation as well as major acceptance of a whole new paradigm, that we were not alone in the universe, that we're being schooled to accept our responsibilities as humans, that we had to leave behind the warring paradigms of the old traditions of science and national politics, and we had to accept the fact that we were part of a galactic federation of advanced planetary systems.
Well, I'm excited that you're going to be there. I'm going to be there with you. Then a whole bunch of people. It is a coming together of the world. It's a multilingual, multinational coming together of some of the best people on the planet. Hugh Newman's going to be there. Steve Bassett, who is such a cheerleader for disclosure. Fantastic people. I'm going to show another trailer and then we'll sign off, because this is another trailer for the conference. You see that on your screen now? Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
You see it on your screen. Okay. Let me just play this one because here it goes.
The UFOlogy World Congress, the world's most important UFO Congress, arrives in Mexico City with the historic presentation of the most important scientist of our times, Dr. Michio Kaku. On December 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, 2023 at Expo Santa Fe. Tickets are already on sale on the official website, www.theufologyworldcongress.com.
The UFOlogyWorldCongress.com.mx. Get some tickets. It's in Mexico City, which is a fantastic place. And we're going to be there. We're going to be there with the Hurtaks and so many other very important world speakers.
MX, produced by We Are Love.
Okay,
I was
so
saying the hotel is right there too. So if you want to fly in, get to the hotel. The conference is right across the street.
All of you who are listening to us should come with great expectation, because this is within the whole disclosure reality that's taking place, not only in Washington, but every major city in the world has had its share of contact experiences. Now it's all going to be put together. And Ellen, you are a very unique journalist because you're going to be able to touch base with your counterparts worldwide. So we want all of you to smell the coffee, shall we say, of the world that's coming. Let us be blessed.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you both for your hard work. Wait, was there a blessing you were about to say?
That's
With the blessing is the pyramids themselves are blessing us. We are the capstone of knowledge, of wisdom, of compassion. You put this together, we become the pyramidal capstones of knowledge, bringing people, small backgrounds, cultures, and ethnic traditions together into one people of the future. We are future humanity. We are Homo Universalis, universal humanity, finding its steps, its baby steps across the galaxy into a new reality.
Thank you so much for your time. Always enjoyed traveling the world with you. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Subscribe to this channel. See you in Mexico. And if you're in the neighborhood, come to Las Vegas this weekend because we're going to be there talking about disclosure at Disclosure Fest at the Luxor Hotel, November 11th